Hello everyone, welcome back to another Adobe Live. We were just talking before this about how many streams we've done, and I think this is 42, 41. People at home, if you know, and you've been keeping track, let us know. If you've been there since day one, and you're still looking at us every day on your lunch break, then welcome back. And for anyone new, this is what we do. We just come along at 12 UK time and chat with UK creators. How's everyone doing? Fresh on a Wednesday, happy hump day. And hi, Amber.
Hello. So thank you for having me. So over the next hour, I'll be basically talking about Femme type and basically the kind of things that we've done over the past year. So I think, can people see my screen?
Amber, but before we start, I just wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. There's Jackie, there's Kirsty, and I know, Kirsty and Jackie are probably, the sort of people you're talking about, Emma, that were here on day one, Vanderson, Corey, Michelle, Anthony, and I saw also Steve. Steve from New Zealand is here as well. So Steve is also a regular here on the Adobe Live from the sofa. And just to remind everybody who's joining for the first time, Adobe Live from the sofa is a little thing that we thought about, to get through this weird situation, times, like whatever. In any case, we created Adobe Live from the sofa with UK artists to be with you, the creative community, and also to inspire you on a daily basis from noon to 1 UK time. And I hope you're still enjoying it, even though, like Emma said, this is probably 42. No, we did 42 because 42 is the answer to everything. So I guess it's 42.
Right. So we skipped that.
So yeah,
there was no answer to it. We didn't find it.
There's no answer.
It's 43.
So hello everybody in the chat, and remember that you in the chat are the ones making this whole thing real. And of course, Amber is making it even more real because our guests. Yeah.
And before we jump in as well, Amber, let us know where you're joining from. It looks like you're in a little cottage. I just realized it looks very kind of cozy. But you're based in just outside London, right?
I am, yeah. So it's 12 UK time here, and it's boiling outside. So it's very
I heard there's a heat wave.
Yeah, loving it.
We'll make it through. Everyone at home who's watching, let us know where you are as well in the chat on Behance. If you're on YouTube, then join along as well. We have, plenty of time for questions today. It's going to be a real Q&A session, talk about creativity and inspiration with Amber, who's the founder of the Femme type.
And
I said that in a French way.
I'm a fan of typography, so I can't wait for this session. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So a little bit, I guess, to introduce Femme type. So Femme type was set up a year ago. But so can people see my screen now?
Yeah.
People can see it. So basically, as you can see, you've got Femme type here. We have, the website with articles and all our projects on it. But Femme type is just a initiative. It's not its own company. So Femme type is underneath Typo 1. So Typo 1 has a similar kind of concept to Femme type, but it's all inclusive. So it's foundries, it's all types of people, and it basically is just, as I said, more inclusive. So you can see that. So so Femme type, the reason why I think people think that Femme type is kind of like the main kind of strand is because obviously with the book, so that obviously gained more popularity in the beginning. So you can see it there. This is the second edition. And yeah, so this is on its second print run now, which is amazing.
Is that a book that people can actually buy?
Yes, so you can buy it from our shop in here. We've got all our products and projects that I will take you through in a minute. So there it is, right there. And on the moment,
How long has the community been going for?
So it's been set up, as I say, about a year. So April kind of marked Femme type's like first birthday. And obviously we've come a long way from there, which has been really amazing. The book's been like a massive kind of springboard to get everything and on board, working and on board. And yeah, so the page has really grown. We featured amazing people who obviously are all women as well, because basically how it all came about was that when I looked at books and that kind of other inspiration kind of material, there was loads of amazing work, but every single time I looked at the name, it was always a man or a guy. I mean, it was a studio as well, which is obviously men and women both work out, but I was just, you know, I was just like, where are all the women who are doing this amazing type work? So that kind of spurred me on to do the book, because obviously I love print, and all the kind of projects we've done, I'd say about 80% of them do kind of string from my love of print. They're all physical products and that kind of thing, but obviously with what's going on, we've had to shift more to online kind of projects and that kind of thing. But yeah, so let's talk through that to begin with. Unless
what's your background, Amber?
I studied, so I'm from the UK, so I studied graphic design communication at Chelsea College of Art, which is the University of Arts London. Graduated 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And I basically worked for people of print since I left uni. So I worked for these guys, you know, done some great work for them, and so People of Print in Perpetuum are the publisher of the Femme type book. So I approached my my friend who was the director, and I said, look, I've got this really cool, I've got this idea, how can we like bring it to life? And he helped me basically bring it to fruition, because he'd already been through it, because People of Print have their own book, and we come up with a different kind of publishing model. So I raised the money on Kickstarter to start the book up, and that was basically that's how it all got going. I didn't need to save up loads of money. We just did it's just essentially a pre-order campaign. We did loads of like rewards and that kind of thing, and we raised 10 grand in 30 days. So that's how that all started. And as I said, we're on our second print run now, and I think we're about 50% of the way through. But so that's my background, and that's where I've come from. And so now I pretty much do Femme type and Typo 1, which is the main business, which you can see here. So I basically do this full time now, recently. And yeah, so do you have anything else, questions for me? What else have we got? So to introduce kind of like the team that we have, so I have Zoe, who's my main lead editorial contributor. She writes articles for me for Femme type and Typo 1. She's an amazing writer, so definitely check out all of her articles on Femme type, and then you can also check them out on here on Typo 1 as well. And in terms of Femme type, so what we had to, obviously COVID-19 kind of came looming over. We had quite a lot of things in the pipeline with events. We were going to take over Type Thursday in London, obviously not America or anything like that. But so quite a lot of things got cancelled. So obviously we had to shift our focus and kind of get more artist features and that kind of thing up. So we launched a kind of campaign where we had we invited contributors from our network to submit their work basically, and they became a volunteer. So what they did is each week they wrote articles, and it got featured obviously on the site, which was an amazing help. And I mean, it was just so great to see like our network responding to, basically we just needed more help, because obviously we couldn't have as many staff as we wanted to. And so if anyone is Femme type contributing is listening, thank you. So that's that's the so obviously on our main website we've got
Amber. We also have some questions from, I think, where was this? Just a little bit earlier in the chat. I'm like scrolling back up. Oh yeah, Michelle. He was asking about the creative industry and this kind of female focus you have as well, which you mentioned already. But Michelle's asking, can I ask, is the creative industry lacking in female creatives? I'm only asking as I work with a lot of women that are graphic designers and marketeers who are thriving in the industry. So what's your take on this, and what's your experience, and where did it all kind of come from?
So I think in terms of like the general design industry, graphic design, I don't think there's a lack of female designers. I know there's loads of graphic designers that I know, and you can see them on Instagram, even with like people who work in like studios. I generally, personally, I've never found that there's a lack. The reason why FemmeType was set up was because the particular part of the creative industry was type design and typography. So we actually did, before we started the Instagram, we did a bit of research. I mean, it was just the UK. It wasn't a huge amount, but we looked into as many type foundries as we could that were based in the UK, and it was 0.001%. I think there was basically only one type foundry that had been founded by a woman, and she was, I think, 4 years just coming out of uni, so she wasn't as established as the other type foundries that were around. But yeah, so, and also the employees that work there. But I definitely think that it is changing quite rapidly. Hopefully FemmeType has had some part in that, of inspiring women to pursue their careers in type, and hopefully that will just keep on growing and continuing until eventually there isn't that missing link. I just think that's the reason why FemmeType was set up in the first place, to act as a platform and to also improve recognition, because obviously where I did the book, there was women out there that were doing this amazing work, and all what needed to happen was for them to be recognized, is to them to be featured. So this is why we're always striving in whatever we do, whether it's having more articles or the projects that we do, it's all kind of linked back into recognition and the application of the designer's work. So for example, I will get one of our recent projects up. So on the FemmeType website, if you click on projects, you can see our list of projects that we've got on at the moment. So in February or March this year, I collaborated with Graham, who was the creative director of ID Magazine and The Face. And basically, he was working on Love Magazine, which is a British style. There you go, you can see it there. British style magazine that goes out on a biannual basis. And what we did, basically, we listed all the typefaces that were included in the old layouts, and we'd basically revamp them. So all the typefaces are designed by women. They're all modern typefaces. That's the emphasis that I need to put on it. They've been designed recently, because the typefaces that were included in this particular magazine was Bodoni, Helvetica, Baskerville. So typefaces that, don't get me wrong, are, timeless and classic, but they were created by men who died hundreds of years ago. And the type scene is definitely, it's changing a lot. It's especially with, like technology and that kind of thing. There's so many different kind of things happening. So we just wanted to give it that kind of modern twist, and obviously do something for the good of women type designers, get their work into something meaningful and commercial. So yeah. So,
and we have Stuart who's saying female designers are killing it in the industry, totally knocking it out of the park with work.
amazing.
Good feedback.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what did I have? So,
and there were also very great type designers in the late 80s, like was it Susanna, what's her name? I can't remember the name now. I will find it. I will remember it. But I remember like she was doing all these experimental types. We know when dot matrix and things like that, and that was quite fascinating.
Yeah,
we should post it on Discord afterwards when you finally find it.
For sure. So let's move on to another project that we've done recently was again linking back with People of Print, so my former employer. So don't know if you can see my screen now. So basically their posters so their monthly magazine is it is usually a monograph about different artists. So it would just feature one person per issue. But this one, so inside you can see that we've done like a little intro. But on the inside, sorry, this is going to open up quite big. But this is a list of 50 type focused women in the industry. Like you can see, so if you zoom right up, you can see their name, contact detail, and URL. So again, this was kind of wanting to distribute and highlight the amazing women that are out there. And what this kind of did was actually, it shows their face, it shows who they are, it's got direct links to their work, their name, and that kind of thing. So again, it's just all about promoting the recognition of these amazing women, because they are out there, and they just need to be celebrated, and they need to be spoken about, and their work definitely just needs some credit. So you can also get that from our shop. I think it's, so yeah, there it is. You can get it, and also it comes with, I'm not sure, you just go to my screen. So it comes with, that particular issue was in partnership with Foil & Co. So Foil & Co are a UK-based foiling company that do loads of different foils and stuff like that. So this, I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of holographic and it's reflective. So that comes with a limited edition A5 print, and this was specially commissioned by us. So my name is Wendy Studio. You can see that there. Hopefully that you can see that's the right way around. But yeah, so that comes with a special little gift inside. Yeah.
Do you participate in the designing of these things, or you do outsource everything?
So the Femme type book I designed myself. That was all me, partly because I couldn't actually afford to pay someone to do it. So we kind of but luckily, I'm a trained graphic designer, so that's all good. The poster zine was done by People of Print, so they have their own designer, because they have like a certain layout, and they have like a certain aesthetic to kind of keep up with each issue. Also, it's designed it's printed in 2 spot colors, so they have their own way of designing the 2 color layers that then get put on top of one another, which is why you can get the overlaid overlays there. Love magazine, again, they designed that as well, because they had their own internal designer. But all the projects that we kind of do ourselves, that's all designed by us. And I have many friends and people who I can who are freelancers, and I can outreach projects and that kind of thing, which I've been doing for a while anyway. Also with everything that's going on, people are freelancers, they need that work. So but yeah.
So there's quite a few comments in the chat. There's Priya saying, it's such an amazing print. I was amazed when it arrived. Beautiful print. I'm not exactly sure what she was referencing to, but it was
the
first ones. Yeah.
So this all, I mean, So this opens up into like an A. So whatever you see on the front, I'm going to open it up, but it's absolutely massive. It's A1. Can you see it? Whoa, there you go.
Oh, nice.
So it opens up into an A1 poster. So I wouldn't be able to fit all that in the screen. But yeah, so but perhaps it's relating to that as well. But I'm glad that people like it.
Stuart, Susan, Robert, they're all saying nice print work, great work, nice print, looks excellent from Steve. Lovely finishes from Catherine. And Michelle is asking you, do you also do your own graphic design work, freelance, etc., or is that your main focus now?
So yeah, so I do. So you mean like personal graphic design work, or
yes, like for clients or?
So yes, I do, but personally, I just haven't had time to do that. And whenever kind of a client does approach me, I tend to have someone that can always do it better than I can. So it's easier to kind of work with someone else who's closer, particularly on, I think, typefaces, particularly. Obviously, where I'm a graphic designer, I have like a general knowledge, but in terms of actually designing a typeface, which I have dabbled with before, but more I know about how to manage it and how it looks nice, but the technical details, that I kind of leave that up to someone that I've kind of reached out to, and that kind of thing.
Have you ever tried Font Self?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that, like, maybe Tim can put the link in the chat, but that's a really cool application from some friends in Paris who and actually basically you draw all the letters and then it makes an open type font with those letters, and you can use it right away.
It's really easy.
And yeah, it makes it really easy. Also, the kerning and everything is really nice, and it's like a nice entry level kind of thing to create your own fonts. And thank you to Sandrine and Catherine for reminding me, of course, who I was trying to think of, and that was Susanna Lico from Emigre. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. That's kindly noted.
Cool. Even taking notes, we love this.
Yeah. So let's talk about our most recent project, which came out last Friday. So basically, Everpress, who those guys who might not know, Everpress is a t-shirt, basically a t-shirt printing company, but they external designers and other studios, they have the power to like create their own pre-order like campaign. And then people obviously, it's kind of like Kickstarter, I guess, where people set up like a pre-order campaign, and then obviously the sales come in, and then once you get past, I think it's 5 t-shirts, then you start making a profit. And then obviously if you sell 100 t-shirts, basically Everpress do the fulfillment side of things for you, and then obviously you get to keep profit. So a couple of months ago, I was invited to do a talk at their studio along with Anthony Borrell and I forget what the other person was, but so that was great. So FemType contributed a design to their Type in Focus campaign, which was I think it was about 40 different t-shirts designed from different London-based and global designers, which was a really, really great collection, and it was great to be a part of that. And then we kind of continued the conversation, and I was invited to do kind of like a collection, FemType collection of my own, and which again always links back to supporting, collaborating, and showcasing the amazing type work of all these women. It's just each project kind of gives me a new opportunity to kind of spread the word or like do something that's really amazing with these women. So yeah, so you can see, I'm just going to move that over here. So you can see we've got 9 t-shirt designs here. We've got R1. So you've got the likes of Martina Martian, Kelly Lederer. So she's Good Vibes type. So definitely check her out. She's awesome. We've got Stephanie Vogel, Glyph World, 365 Typefaces, Joanna Angluska, Shannon, and Emily. So again, So we basically, I briefed them to design their own t-shirt design that obviously related back to supporting and promoting women type designers and type focused creatives. So you definitely check this out. There's Shannon there, and you can find a little bit more about the collection on here. So you've got all the names, and they're really great.
Oh, there's
design.
Susanna Licco. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
there you go. Got it.
There you go.
Didn't take long.
No, but there you can scroll down. So that pre-order campaign is up, I think, for another like 18 or 17 days. So go and support these amazing women. Obviously they have their own campaigns. So, you know, when you buy a t-shirt, that's all going to the artist, obviously minus the production costs and stuff like that. So definitely go. I mean, I love this one, her type there. Love you from afar. Yeah, so it's great.
Does Everpress also do face masks? Because I think this is like this is a great surface that that can be used these days.
Yeah,
and we'll all need them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely wouldn't be surprised. I know they're probably doing other kind of I'm sure they're probably doing different merchandise pieces. You know, like, I don't know, hats, socks. I'm sure they'll branch out into other things like that. But so that's our latest project that we've done, which has been really cool to see all the different kind of solutions that these designers have come up with, which is really great. Unfortunately, it's all had to be done remote as well because of what's going on. But it's a great campaign to do. So yeah. So let's go on here. So the next thing I kind of wanted to see was so we have quite a few questions that our audience, well, the Femme type audience has sent through a DM. So I don't know if we're good to.
Yeah, definitely. I know you had a couple of things, and you have so many projects and exciting things happening with the community. And we obviously wanted to talk about the book, and we had some questions about this as well, and the way you're set up. And you also, I don't know if you were going to show some spreads as well, which have been super interesting to have a look into, and kind of get an insight into your creative process as well. We did have James earlier on who was asking if you could say you're a little bit more of a creative agency in the way you work, or if you feel you have a slightly different format.
I think that's the way it's kind of going, because as much as I'd love to be the one sitting there and doing the hardcore designing, my kind of role is to like an art director, is to oversee things and to deliver and do the kind of logistics of a project rather than to do the finer details of it, because obviously I think there's just especially with the Femme type book where I did everything. So I did, well, I had an editor, so I did the content curation. Then I did all the organizing of that, getting all the artwork in, which was a long process, getting all the right, rewriting the text, and then actually designing it as well. It was a lot of work. And when obviously where I was working at People of Print, not 5 days a week, but I was still having to do the book in my evenings and weekends. So what could have taken me maybe 3 months of solid work, it took me 8 instead. But which is fine. I mean, it all worked out amazingly in the end. If also we did like a launch event. So if people haven't seen that, if you go to our about page on FemType, we've got a really cool video here. And we did that at, where did we do that? We did that at something, where is it? Signature Brew, that's it, in Shoreditch, which was really good. It was great to meet people and meet the supporters of, FemType. I think it's really important to meet people face to face, and kind of had loads of really great chats, and I met loads of people that I still work with now a year on. So it's a great thing to do. So yeah, so I had quite a few people send in questions. Sorry, before I do that, so sorry to kind of wrap up your question. Sorry, I'm moving like 100
Moving
miles an
on
hour.
to the
Yeah,
more questions. You've been harassed with questions, so we will get to. I know you also had like
That's
kind
okay.
of open call on your Instagram as well with some questions for your little Q&A, so we can cover that for sure as well. So I'm sure everyone on Behance has similar questions and comments. So but yeah, did you wanted to wrap up on this one first?
Yeah, so I think we are definitely moving into kind of like a creative agency kind of setup in terms of our business. I think definitely needs, we're investing in more people, so more staff. We're taking on more, because obviously where we've had to kind of focus on the book and getting the articles up and that kind of thing and managing it, is kind of like taking it step by step. But now we're starting to move more into doing creative projects, because although it feels like it's been a long time, a year isn't actually that long at all. But we're just taking things kind of gradually. Obviously with what's happened as well, we're glad that we haven't kind of jumped ship, or we haven't done anything too drastically. So we've kind of taken it quite slow and like reflected on each kind of bit, where we thought, okay, let's focus on this and let's build this up so that looks more ideal and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think one of the main things moving forward is we'd love to focus more on creative projects, for sure, campaigns, branding, all that kind of thing. It's definitely on the cards for the future. But yeah, we just need to keep going.
Sounds exciting. Loads going on your way, I'm sure, and you'll have to keep us posted as well on any new projects. But should we get onto those questions as well?
Sure. So I'm just.
Do you have them all up?
Yeah, I do. They are all here. Okay. So the first one was, what are some of the design objectives that your group thinks through when determining which submissions of type are worth posting? I'm guessing that's on your Instagram. So to answer that question, it's all.
Shall we go back? Yeah, to your Instagram. Great. Yeah,
so
you just had it open there. Yeah.
So it's all done by, I guess, so visual aesthetic. We get people, submitting. So for example, this post was submitted by Studio Sly, which was great. They sent us a submission to our email, which there is at the top of our FemTech website, there's a submit button which opens up our email. So we love to. We don't think we get as many submissions through that as we find through Instagram, but just always remember there's that submit button. You can submit anything, whether it's to do with Instagram, whether it's to do with the artist, a article feature. We look into every single one of them and read thoroughly and give feedback, so take advantage of that button. So I guess it's all done visually. We're looking for kind of engaging, high quality work from studios, from individuals. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers. It doesn't matter if you have 10,000. If the work is high quality and visually beautiful, then we'll of course post it.
I think this is so inspiring as well, what you just said. Whether you have 10,000 or 10 followers, it doesn't matter. It's the work that's important, because that question comes up so many times also here in the chat on Adobe Live, is like, but how do I get exposure? How do I get do I get people to see my stuff if I don't have 10,000 followers? Well, it's all about the quality of work and
definitely
the things you want to share.
For sure. And obviously, I think what comes up quite a lot is it has to be type focused for what I think we get a lot of people sending submissions through our DMs, and the images that they send aren't always as type focused. Type needs to be the main the main topic of, or main the main thing that what you're featuring, because otherwise it's it doesn't really suit our platform. It's not appropriate. So yeah, so that's, I guess that's how we choose. We tend to, obviously we have the hashtag FemType. So here not that one, FemType. So 17,755 people, images have used this hashtag. So this is what we kind of surf every day, most days, on our through our phones and stuff like that. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's how we basically find it. So if you want to be featured, then use this hashtag, because we do go through this quite thoroughly, and we choose people. So we're getting distracted. I'm looking at them.
Doing your daily job on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Creating.
So, yeah, exactly. So this is how we find people. So, and also you can actually tag our page as well. We're not going to tell you stop tagging us, as long as you're not spamming, thousands and thousands of pictures. But yeah, so tag us in your post, because that's like a calling card for us to come and see your work, and we always look at it. So I think that's if you want our eyes on your work, then definitely that's a good way to do things.
And that's a great tip for everyone, all these creatives, as you said, Rufus, who are looking for exposure, and thinking a little bit creatively about how you can get into those communities and get your work featured, and tagging, hashtagging, all these little tips that you've been giving, Amber. I think there's just some brilliant ways if you're sitting at home and want to also connect and look at what other creatives are doing. I think you've grown this community and this page, to I don't know how 30k followers, and everyone started from the same place. So it's just about how you do it, and growing that organically and tapping into the right networks. And we're all at home right now, so you don't have these like events and all these networks that you can kind of join along to. So
exactly,
this is the way to do it now, digitally.
But I miss them.
Oh, I know, we all do. We miss human contact.
Yeah. I know.
But yeah, and actually that's a question for you, Amber, as well. How was that done for you in the past? What kind of events and networks were you part of in London that have kind of helped you grow and in the past couple of years?
Obviously we had the book launch, which was that was really good. That was in London, and then we did another one up in Leeds, because the printer that we used is Precision, and they're based up in Leeds. So I think I went on a couple of trips up there by car, which was like a 6-hour drive, which was long. So yeah, went and visited them and met them in person, and saw the book actually physically be printed, which obviously made for great content and that kind of thing. So I did that, and then what other events? I went to a few. So Type Thursday is a really good one to go to in London. My friend Lily, she's running it for this year. She's a chapter lead, she was also in the book, so that's how we kind of developed that relationship. Type Thursday is definitely a good one. Yeah, I tend to go to like kind of odd events here and there if I'm interested, like in London. I mean, I can't really think of the ones I've been off the top of my head. And then obviously People of Print did a lot of events, so they went to the London Illustration Fair and that kind of thing. And because the book is published with People of Print, the book will obviously be on their table, because obviously it's part of their product range, and then that's how those conversations started as well. So there was quite a few events that I could then just go and basically just talk about the book basically, and say like I'll follow the page and stuff like that, and yeah, so that's how that community kind of has built up, which is amazing. Like we're getting so many lovely messages and engagements and that kind of thing, and the community is growing in such a lovely way.
And how do you engage with them daily? We were talking about this before the stream, but you're doing Instagram lives and stories, but what is keeping the community alive from your end as well?
It's hard, because obviously everyone is so remote, so the only way people can really connect is through social media, and that kind of thing. I guess you could describe it as being quite cold in a way, because it's not human contact. You're not having as engaging long conversations as you would from human to human, but hopefully once this is kind of you know, we've got through the end of the tunnel, it will make people want to go out and, you know, engage more and be a part of communities and just really just be out there and not hidden behind a screen. Yeah, I guess that's the only way we can, you know, keep posting and keep talking, and yeah, just keep going, I guess. But yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Next
so
question.
next question.
We really went on to this one, rambled on.
I know, no, that's okay. Okay, so what made you start FemType? Was it general frustration with the male-sided industry, or was a particular event or something else? Just interested in finding out the fire. So I think it was just from observation. That's literally where it was. I just obviously I kept, you know, I was looking in graphic design and typography inspiration books, and even online whenever I'd see like a new project come out. You know, everyone's interested in the designer who's the author of this, you know, great work, and it just kind of popped up into my head eventually that, you know, there's not as many women as there is men, and it was quite drastic in some cases. And so then obviously I started looking for these women, and they were out there. So I started making a list of like references, and I had this, you know, I just remember one day looking at it and I was just like, wow, I really have to do something with these lists of references. I have to, but I obviously wasn't sure. And then working at People of Print, I was like, oh, I'd love to make a book. It was always like a goal of mine, but I never actually thought that it'd be able to come completely to life, where it was my, you know, my book. I'd written it and chosen all the people in it, so it was definitely like a dream come true in that respect. And yeah, so I think, as I said, it's definitely the balance is definitely changed. You know, it's the gaps are closing basically, I think, for sure. But you know, all I want to do is carry on, you know, doing these amazing things with these people, because that's it's just inspiring to see the work that they do and create, and you know how they feed off being inspired by us. You know, we've had like such lovely messages, you know, saying, you know, this is such an inspiring page, you know, like it's you know, it keeps me going, and it makes me want to carry on, you know, my typeface and stuff like that, which is like such you know, it's music to my ears really. So it would just, you know, it kind of gives me strength to kind of carry on in those days where you just feel like, oh, what am I doing? But it's all good. But I think
to tie into that, maybe there is this question from Michelle. She says, this might be a rude thing to ask, but how are you generating profit, or what's your business model?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. I think everyone gets a bit weird when they talk about that. So obviously my book, that was probably like the main income for a long time. But where I was doing events and stuff like that, it was, you know, keeping me going. Now again, it's still, I'll show you, it's still kind of product, it's kind of like product based. And obviously we do other projects, you know, external projects that are keeping us going as well. So Everpress Love, and a couple of other things that we've got in the pipeline. But then also you have, obviously, as I said, so let's go back to Typo One. So Typo One, again, although it doesn't have like a shop, well, it has a shop, but not kind of like it's not like FemType. So if you go click on the store, so Type Department, which is the online store of Typo One, so it's a marketplace where other sellers can sell their fonts. So obviously where I've been looking, you know, like writing articles and seeing all this amazing work, and I was seeing all these amazing independently made typefaces, and they, you know, look at them, they're beautiful. So, and I was just thought, oh, there's not really a platform where people can sell it, because when it comes to foundries, they obviously sell their own that they've created themselves. You've got stuff like, I think it's my fonts that Monotype owns and that kind of thing. But I really wanted to kind of highlight and focus on the current fonts that are being produced, because there's just so many. And yeah, so that's what so this is also like another strand of our business. It's obviously generating, you know, quite a decent bit of money. So yeah, so I guess there's
is that animation? Tina Tooley, yes. Tina was with us on Adobe Live as well. Yeah.
Obviously. Oh yeah, no, she's great. I've met her too. She's done yeah, she's great. She's in this as well. So
oh right, yeah, no, Tina's everywhere.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's very talented designer for sure. So I guess there's kind of three revenue strands that we've got at the moment. We've got type department, which is one, and then we've got fem type products, and then we've got kind of external projects and campaigns that obviously we get paid to be a part of and paid to do. So it's all just about, you know, focusing on those revenue streams and improving the systems and you know, obviously the more, and then I guess we had events as well, but they've all got cancelled because obviously what's going on. So yeah, so that's kind of how we're working on at the moment. I think with every business, kind of one stream of revenue tends to make more money than the other, which is why I kind of agree that might, you know, turn into a creative agency, because, you know, we get work in and, you know, we outsourcing it, and we have people who are on who are, you know, kind of not as a permanent member of team, but who are freelancers, and, you know, I work with them consistently. So yeah, I think that's definitely where our direction is kind of going, which is very exciting. So yeah.
And can we talk a bit more as well?
Diversification, and I think that's something that's super important in these days. And those who have diversified, you know, ahead of this crisis, you know, they have these, you know, this passive revenue and these revenue streams, like you say, and yeah, so that's, you know,
like a portfolio and an investment. The way you're approaching it. Yeah. And we also can we talk a bit more about, I know you mentioned Zoe, I think it's Zoe was her name you work with.
She was, Zoe.
And Corey was asking how many staff do you have? So it's just the two of you, right? And how did you meet Zoe, and where did that come from in terms of finding someone, you know, who you can partner up with and you can trust and grow this?
So in total, so I've got Zoe, who's kind of like, she works part-time for me at the moment. And then I've got, I think it's 10 other volunteers who write for FemType. So in essence, I'm managing 11 people, but obviously I don't have 11 full-time, you know, staff on board. That's a lot. That's a lot of people, even for a small studio. So repeat the question. So was it
just about finding Zoe and how you started working together? At which point of the community as well did you feel like you needed someone else to also, you know, help? Was that from the beginning, or?
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't from the beginning. It was kind of when the workload was just getting too much. I didn't have, you know, when it starts to spill over into evenings and weekends on a consistent basis, you know, it does definitely weigh you down. So I think at one point I was just like, oh wow, I just really need help. So so how I met her was, I think it was just, she submitted her work through Instagram. Instagram is just a great tool. It's how I find everyone. It's how I, you know, generate a lot of my, you know, the jobs that happen. You know, Graham from Love, he got in contact with me through Instagram, which is why I kind of put a lot of emphasis on the FemType Instagram. I, you know, I really try and build it to make us look as good as possible. And so yeah, so she submitted her work, and I was like, you know, I really need like a writer, and her writing was amazing. So I was just, you know, that's when I was like, right, okay, let's get you signed on, let's get you doing, you know, all the articles for FemType and, you know, Typo 1, and, you know, hope now that I've got more time to focus on FemType and, you know, well, my business in general, which is Typo 1, there'll be lots more, you know, artist features, and I'll be working with Zoe a lot more. But Zoe's from Norwich, so we're working remotely at the moment. I mean, even if we were, you know, it's not like we're based, you know, in the same area. So, you know, even if COVID-19 hadn't hit, we still work remotely anyway. But yeah, so we just like stay in contact by WhatsApp, and, you know, I give her kind of tasks to do each week, and it's all just about management, really. Bit boring, but you know, it's got to be done. But yeah, so I think one last question that I had was, how has FemType been affected during COVID-19? So how has it been affected? I mean, I think I've mentioned already before, like all the events got cancelled. I had to let a few people go. Well, not let a few people go. It was just I couldn't invest as much as time as I wanted to into, you know, getting new people on board and working for Typo One and stuff like that. But luckily, because I had the book and online products, that has kind of spiked. So it's kind of balanced itself out. So although, you know, I think 1 month, I think it was February or March, I was freaking out because I was like, oh, you know, what does this mean for my business? You know, it's been up like, you know, it's been live for a year, you know, less than a year, and you know, this might be the downfall of it because of what's happening. But the community has just been like really supportive, and you know, buying our book and you know, all that kind of thing. Like every single purchase is like channeled back into the business to help it grow and to definitely invest more into people. So, you know, because then they can help generate other forms of income and that kind of thing, and just build a really close knit team. I think that's what my main kind of goal was, is to, you know, have this close knit team, because you don't need loads of people. You don't need, I mean, unless it depends on what the needs of your business. But yeah, I just want to, you know, have this close knit team that I can work with on a daily basis, and like just keep doing really good things with FemType and doing things, you know, good things for the community and doing really exciting things with Typo One. So yeah.
And talking about community, I have to hop off because the French community is waiting for me. So I'm running a bit late. So I'll leave you two to chat. Thanks so much, Amber. It's been really inspiring to speak to you. So you two can wrap it up.
Et on se voit après, Emma.
Exactement. À toutes.
Bye.
So there's a follow-up question to that from Corey. Like, do you work generally from home, or do you have a studio dedicated to these to this activity?
Yeah. So I work from home. I mean, the plan was to get a studio space, but obviously with again COVID-19, everyone's working from home anyway. So I think that will be a step kind of later on. But because I'm based just outside of London, I go in for meetings into London. It takes me about half an hour to get there by train. You know, I can get anywhere really. So it's quite handy living where I do. A lot of the freelancers that I work with, they're in London as well. But usually I just don't have to physically meet up with them. You know, it can all be done by phone and an email and that kind of thing. But yeah.
Do you have any more questions from your community?
No, I think that was it. Yeah. I think those were the 3 questions that I had. Is there like in your year of doing this, like, is there something that really struck you, like you said, wow, I mean, this is like that, even you thought, wow, this is inspiring me so much? Yeah. I think it was just the reaction that I got from people, from the book and starting the Instagram. Obviously, people of print helped FemType get to the first like 10,000 followers, like with the book and stuff, you know, sharing it through their community and that kind of thing, which I'm hugely grateful for. And then after that, it just kind of went from one thing to another. And then I found, you know, each time I find this, you know, amazing work, or one of my volunteers, they write about a studio that I never knew about, like in Seattle or something, and they're, you know, it's a women-founded studio and they're doing amazing work. I'm just like, yeah, you know. So it's just really inspiring to see the reaction of everyone, because I think before the book went live on Kickstarter, you know, I had sleepless nights thinking, you know, is this going to work as an initiative? Maybe no one's gonna you know, react to it, and it's just gonna be an idea and it's just not really gonna work. But you know, looking back, it's all worked out in the end. So
that's the thing, right? You just have to, like, if you like what you're doing and that that you think it could inspire others, just go for it. It's like
sure.
It's also like these projects, like these Adobe Live, with UK artists. We didn't know, this was completely new when we started, but right now there's about 900 people watching, and this is so great to have that that community and people watching in the watching on Adobe Live and like chatting in the chat. And they're chatting among each other. And maybe it's a good time now, Tim, to also put the, there we go. Tim always anticipates me saying that. So the link to the Discord that we have prepared for our audiences to go and join the community in between streams. Even though we're live every day, it's always nice to regroup as a community on Discord as well. So thanks for posting that link. And maybe I just, as we wrap this up, Amber, maybe do you want to just show your book a couple more times, like a couple of the, maybe some spreads of how it looks inside, and
Sure. Let's
invite our audience to go and purchase it, for their
for sure. So let's go on a little guide we have. So we've got the foreword by Good Type founder Brooke Robinson. Lovely like green spot color that we've used throughout the book, and we've got essays from there. We've got essays to introduce, and then it goes on to kind of the products like this, and you can see so each kind of designer has their own like section, and it talks about their projects. We've got interviews in there as well. We've got an interesting contribution from Alphabet. So that's another all-women platform. Don't know if you can see that there. So it's just got all the amazing, type projects and typefaces. And then, so it's split into 3 sections. So it's split into essays, type, and typography. So you've got, so let's skip to the typography section. You've got Slanted. We did an interview with the co-founder of Slanted Publishers, Julia, which was really great. And then, so let's keep going. Cool, yeah. And then you come to the typography section. Got Hey Studio here, Shanty Sparrow, which was really nice. That's love.
Well, this is really a beautiful book to have. Because inspiration is everywhere, of course. Much online these days. But I think like browsing through the pages of a book and like actually pausing and the smell of it.
I know it does. Smells good.
So this is great. Also here in the chat, there's I'm just gonna read some. Mona says, fantastic. Susan, excellent. Caroline looks great. Jackie says, great book. Clean design. This is Catherine. Sandrine has like emoji with heart eyes. Nicely designed by Michelle. Tanvi, love the design. Cool content. I want one. Well, Robert, you know where to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to say that. Oh, Rufus does. I don't know what you mean, Robert, but Kirsty also said this is amazing. Yeah. So basically, there's a book. There's also the T-shirts, right? Yeah. Maybe we just want one more little click on the Everpress shop.
Sure. Let's go here. Gosh.
Ah, the smell. Yes, Robert. Yeah, the smell of books. I love it. I come from the print world too, so like as we can see, print is far from dead. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Very good, very good. Yeah, so you can go to our Femme Type shop where you can see all our products. We've got the poster zine, so that's in there. You can get the Kerning Queen pin, and then you've also got our book and our Femme Type pin as well. And our book is on sale for £25 at the moment, so it's got 10% discount. So go get it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Amber, any last thoughts for our Adobe Adobe Live from the sofa?
Thank you all for listening to me ramble on for an hour. Just just keep showing me your amazing work. If you're a woman, you know, we've got Typo 1 as well. So send me your type work and let's see what we can do with it. And yeah, thanks for having me.
And also thank you for sharing that, you know, when this all started, you were freaking out, but now you're saying, no, it's doable.
Yeah.
We can go through this. And this
Definitely.
is exactly what we're doing with you, the community, on a daily basis from noon to 1 here on Adobe Live from the sofa with UK artists. And well, I'll be seeing everyone tomorrow for a new guest. And together with Emma, we're going to do another Adobe Live from the sofa. Amber, thank you so much. This was super inspiring, super interesting. Great stuff you're doing. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.